And welcome back to the 53rd annual Head of the Charles Regatta here in beautiful Boston, Massachusetts. I am your host, Whitney Powell, and today we have a fabulous women's 4-1 with us today. So I would love to introduce them, please, ladies.
I'm C.B. Sands 4 from Cambridge Boat Club.
Linda Murray, Cambridge Boat Club.
Amanda Cox, Riverside Boat Club.
And Alwyn Huxley, Potomac Boat Club. But I learned to row here in Boston.
So we're here today because you guys raced yesterday, and I heard, a little birdie told me that you did something pretty amazing. So can you guys tell me a little bit about your race yesterday and what happened? Kind of walk us through that and then tell us how it ended up, because it sounds pretty exciting.
We started, it's a new crew, so we started in the back of the pack. We were bow number 36, and we were hoping from some practice rows to have a pretty good time, but we knew that passing can be a bit challenging, and so we were relying on Amanda quite a bit, and she actually did just an amazing job. We had to paddle a couple of times to let some crews get by us or away from us so that we could then take the shorter line, and that's really hard to do when you're racing full tilt boogie. And we wound up, from 36, we wound up winning by 30 seconds, and we set a new course record by 30 seconds.
That's amazing. 30 seconds. That's amazing. That's amazing. So how did it feel from the coxswain's perspective?
Well, it was probably the most challenging race I've ever done. We went in anticipating that we were going to have to pass boats, but you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be out there, and you don't know what it's going to look like at any given point. I knew that there were certain points I had to be careful about, that, the Anderson Bridge doesn't fit 3 boats across. So you can't start entering 3 boats across, and you really have to make a decision as you're approaching it. But we got past a lot of crews. I had an incredibly powerful boat behind me, right? And they were so responsive, and those few seconds we had to paddle, they didn't question whether that was the right decision. They just did it. And we took those lines, and we had another little kerfuffle where we had to paddle right in front of the Windsor dock, and they just got out of that, took the line, and zoomed to the finish line. So it was a really fun piece, and it meant a lot having a group of women who trusted my decision making to listen, and it worked.
Yeah, I know. As a coxswain, I can speak to that too. When your rowers respond, it makes things go a lot easier. It makes things go a lot smoother. So a lot of people say that this race is a coxswain's race. So as a rower, how do you feel about that?
I think this is definitely a coxswain's race because we knew we were fast and we knew we were going to have to pass 10 boats. So it was definitely a coxswain's race, and she nailed it. She nailed it.
That's awesome. And 30 seconds. I mean, that's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. We were getting a lot of texts on the row back. We launched out of the Boston University Boathouse. They were gracious enough to lend us some equipment. So we had a long row back afterwards, and we're getting a lot of messages of support and excited friends and family.
That's really neat. So do we have a celebration planned at the boathouse? Do we have a party lined up for you guys? Are we?
No.
How are we celebrating?
I think we had a group hug.
Yeah. A group hug.
We had a group hug at the dock.
Some lattes.
And then,
Okay.
and then we got coffee. And then we got an Uber and came back here. So we celebrated in the Uber. I think we will celebrate for like the rest of the year in our hearts.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, thanks. But what Amanda said about like having the responsive crew, I mean, the couple of times that we did have to paddle, I could feel like, Linda was sitting right in front of me, and I can tell she's just like, must paddle, because, it's like once she says, 3 to build and you're across the line, and they're like, row Cambridge Boat Club, you go. And to then put the brakes on is like, so trust her. Okay, we're okay. Okay, we can go now. Okay.
Yeah.
So it
takes a lot of confidence.
It takes a huge amount of confidence.
Make those choices, make those smart choices in the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah,
So,
it was brilliant.
It was awesome.
Having come from the double CB and I the last few years, and CB strokes, which is great because she's just got this strong rhythm, and so it was nice to follow her yesterday. But in the bow, I've had to steer, and I was just so looking forward to not steering that I actually slept the night before the regatta because I knew we had Amanda do this, and I didn't have to look over my shoulder and find the buoys and gauge where the bridges were and everything. So it was, and we just knew she was going to do a great job.
That's fantastic. Well, tell me a little bit about this double, because you guys have a little bit more history rowing this double together, and I'm assuming that you have raced this before.
Yes.
In the double.
So we raced the double 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
And we did set the course record in the double, and we won it for 4 years straight. And then it was just, time to mix it up a little bit, do something different, see what else was out there. So we decided to do the 4, and Amanda jumped right in. Jen Sachek, who's not here, jumped right in immediately, and then we were looking for a 4th, and Olin was
I
good
got an
enough
email.
Olin was good enough to jump in, and the 4 of us, we raced actually in some different lineups leading up to this, but the Head of the Charles was actually the first time that Olin was in the boat with us.
Really?
So-
Yeah, we practiced. We did sort of a practice on Friday.
For about 30 minutes.
And it was sort of like, okay, it was so
Couple
crowded
20s.
out there that we could barely paddle. And
Yeah.
then we warmed up on the Uggs on Saturday morning, and off we went. And it was great. Boat was set. It's like, it was the dream throw together boat. And, I was a little intimidated because they had already broken a course record in a practice a couple weeks beforehand and posted it on Facebook. And I was like, oh, I could screw this up. So it was great. Thanks. I just want to say thanks again on TV for having me. This is brilliant. It was such a good row.
So there's a lot of course records being broken around here. I'm sensing a theme here. Some very powerful women here. This is really, really impressive. And I mean, wow, this is amazing. It's really great for the club. It's really great, for you guys. You've rowed together for so long, and then, your first row. I think when you get in the boat with rowers who just know what they're doing, and you can go out there and have a good row and not worry about the steering. You're not worried about the set, and you can just row, do what you do best. It's really magnificent.
And I do want to say, I think that you'll see in the Masters, at every age group, you're going to see a lot of course records being broken on the women's side, because we're really the first wave of women who actually grew up with sports in high school. If you even go like 5 years older than we are, before Title IX, women that are 5 or 10 years older than me did not do sports in high school. And so I think you're going to see course records on the women's side in the Masters events being broken just every single year.
We hope that we're
Yeah.
a good example, and that there's going to be more and more 50 plus and 60
Yeah.
plus, or that the 40-year-old are,
I mean, I fully expect this record to be broken by women, I don't know, in 5 years.
Right.
Because
Once we finish.
right?
Once we finish.
Once we get out of the 50s, yeah.
No, we're sort of we're helping to set a new standard, not in the sort of pejorative sense, but in an aspirational sense. It's like, hey, if you train moderately well and get enough sleep, and don't let your job get in the way of your training, these speeds, this kind of boat speed is not just possible, but it will become common, and that's that's wonderful for women's rowing.
It puts our course record, the speed of this event now is on par with what the men's is relative to the field. So it's nice to get it there instead of have it lagging, but
Yeah.
it just did. I mean, there's we're in our 50s and getting there.
Do you also then project that these age categories will get more impacted? Like there will be more women?
Yeah,
rowing
that's
as well?
already happening.
Yeah, there's
that's
already growth.
And they're going to be more and more competitive. So
Yeah.
we're going to have there's not going to be that 30-second gap
No.
in a couple of years. It's
No.
going to be, the same as
boom, boom, boom.
right down the row. So it's good for the sport. It's good for women, and we're happy to. I'm happy to be a part of this boat because I'm not in this age group, but really admire,
Right.
But it really, it's really important for me to be racing with this because, I was of an age group that we started sports at age 5 and kept going on, and it's really important to see, to reflect and to see where women were and where we can go and keep leading the way for the girls behind us.
Well, that's really amazing. I mean, I can't top that. So that was incredible. So before we sign off here, is there anything else that you would like to add or say, either to your club, to your audience, to your fans, to anyone?
Well, I'd like to say thanks to everyone at Potomac Boat Club who let me jump ship. I also want to say thanks to Dan Boyne, who is the boatman and kind of in-house Yoda at Weld Boathouse, who taught me how to scull all those years ago, and it changed my life. Now I have an opportunity to say it on the internet. So, and then I want to thank you guys again. I keep thanking you over and over. It was a splendid
BU.
row.
And
BU,
yeah.
and
Their
BU,
boats.
yeah, they let us use our boats. I
Very
bought a nice
supportive.
shirt, and I went there for grad school when I was training for the national team. So,
And many thanks to Jen Sachek, who couldn't be with us today, and Roberta Turivice, who jumped in for 3
Yes,
races
Roberta.
with us, and was very much a part of this boat in spirit.
And it's just not too late. Just get out there, women, and start rowing.
thanks.
Well, you heard it here first. So thank you guys so much for your time. Again, huge congratulations. This really raises the bar an incredible amount. So thank you for your time out there, for your practice time, your race time, your effort, and for really setting a good example out there. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, this is Whitney Powell signing off, 53rd annual Head of the Charles Regatta. We will talk to you again soon.